Hey everyone, my name is Gamer Corey and welcome back to another Minecraft tutorial video. Now, in this video, we're going to be making an automatic melon and pumpkin farm, and this is actually inspired by Ilmango's melon pumpkin farm. However, there's actually a lot less materials that you guys actually need in order to build this. Now, it might not be quite as efficient, but it's a very, very, very similar design. So you can actually always add some parts to it if you guys want. Now, I'm going to be making it with hoppers, but you can actually replace the hoppers with minecart rails if you guys would like, and it's going to be virtually the same thing. So it's up to you guys which way that you guys would choose to build it. I'm going to be building it with hoppers so you guys can actually see with hoppers, and then maybe later in the video we'll just replace those with minecart rails. We'll just have to see. So anyway, let's go ahead and kind of get started with this build. Now, pretty much everything that you're going to need is already down in the hotbar down below. That's really the only things that you guys are actually going to need in order to build this melon and pumpkin farm. However, this thing is completely expandable, so you can make it really as big as you want. Obviously, the bigger that you do create it, I would probably recommend that you guys use minecarts in order to collect all of your things, because unless you have like unlimited iron, then you might not have enough iron and hoppers in order to actually build this pumpkin farm and melon farm. Now, there's just a little bit of quartz that is required, so you guys will have to actually make it down into the nether. So that is part of this farm, unfortunately. However, this is a little bit more expensive of a farm, and you guys are going to see that here in a little bit, even though it's actually pretty tiny. It's a 9x9 build, so let's actually go ahead and get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to build this just a couple in the air, like let's go right about there. So basically right there is where our farm is actually going to be. That's the center of it. So now what you can do is actually go out. I'm just going to grab farmland instead of hoeing the area. I'm just going to go ahead and go one around this. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and saturate that real quick so that it stays nice and hydrated for the farmland. Now, that way I don't have to actually use a hoe in order to do this. Now, what you can actually do is you can grab your sea lantern, which is here. And you're just going to go ahead and place it right on top of that water. And that's pretty much the majority of your farm complete. No, it's not. However, you do need a light source, so you can use sea lanterns, you can use glowstone, you could use torches, you could use lanterns if you want. But I just really like sea lanterns. I've always liked sea lanterns, so this is what we're going to be using. However, I really do like the new lanterns that we do have access to now. They are pretty amazing. I actually really hope that they come up with some more light sources as well in some of the newer updates that are coming out. So anyway, you can do is build this out 4 on each side with your dirt or farmland, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to make a big square with all of that that farmland there. So this is kind of what you're going to be looking at when you're building the farm, and it will hydrate all the way out to the sides there. As you can see, that one's already hydrated. So we just go ahead and grab all of this right here, and then we got this little quarter of this build right here. You can start by either doing the hoppers on the bottom, which, you know, you could actually just, let's see, we want, I guess we'll just run it into a chest right here. I guess that will work for me. So we can get rid of that. And now what we can do is we can actually just run all of our hoppers into that chest, that final hopper. All right, so now you have all your hoppers going into this, basically this one double chest right here. Now you could actually make this storage system as big as you wanted it, but this is just for demonstration purposes and for the tutorial, so hopefully you guys don't really mind that. So now that all of our farmland is actually starting to get hydrated here, we can actually go ahead and start the next part of our process here. Now, for the next part of our build, we're actually going to be using observers and pistons primarily. However, what we're going to want to do is we are going to want to go ahead and grab our seeds here. So we're going to need melon. We don't need any more farmland, and we need pumpkin and melon seeds, and we actually don't need the half slabs anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to alternate, and you actually need to skip every one. So one of these will actually become the actual melon and pumpkin. So we're going to do a row of pumpkin, and you're going to make sure that you skip each row, and you can kind of see it there. The next one we're going to do, and we're going to kind of go at like just a normal like checker pattern, like so, if you guys can kind of see that. And then we're going to go back to pumpkin, and we're going to go every other one again. So in this case, we're actually going to get more pumpkin than melon, but that's fine because melon actually produces a little bit more anyway because we get the slices instead of the full melon. However, we do have to craft the melon itself. And then the next thing we got to do is melon here, and then pumpkin. What you could do is till it so that you have that pattern, and then go ahead and place all the things down so you guys can easily see where each of those need to be at. So there we go. So what we're going to do now is when you're actually building above it, so like if this is like one of your pieces here, what you're going to do is you're actually just going to kind of squat down, place it on top of this. So now that we have that facing down, you can see the face is actually looking down, and we're going to get a signal up here at the top. And this is going to be a little bit different than how Il Mango's was, but we still have to do the alternating portion of it. So the best way to do this is just kind of go around to each one. The best way is to start in the center, or work your way around. Now, if I was doing this in survival, what I would be doing is I'd be, doing one here on top of this plant, and then I would go here, and then here, and like that. That way they're all facing down. And then what I do is I squat and then look right in the corner, and that way it's facing down. Like so. So now you have the pistons facing down, and then you just have to alternate that pattern. So what you can do is kind of get to the side there, face down, and then just kind of make sure that you guys are clicking in the corner there, and that should allow it to face down here. Making sure that you're actually clicking on the corner that you actually want. And then now what you can do is you can do the observers. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm kind of alternating it to show you guys how you guys could do it in survival, and you're using that plant as kind of the basis here. And now what you can do here is put them over the top of the next row of plants. And like so. Oh, that one you got to put more face down. There we go. Now what we can do is we can put in our pistons. All right, so this is what it will look like when it's all done. You can see that it creates that checkerboard, and you saw that one flashed right there. That means there's actually a little bit of growth going on there. So now you can either wait for the farm to completely grow, or you can actually use some bone meal to help it actually along. However, there is one more step that we actually need to do on the top here. So what you're going to do is on each of these red dots, you're actually going to go ahead and put some redstone dust. And then what's going to happen is when that fires, it's going to send a signal to the nearby pistons, and it's actually going to fire. So I'm hoping that they'll fire here in just a moment for us naturally without us having to bone meal them. But we'll just have to see. I could turn up the tick speed as well. Just make sure that... Oh, there you go. You heard it. You saw it flash. And there we go. Perfect. And as the pistons are pushing it down, you're going to get the growth that's going to look like this. It's going to be just a normal dirt block. And it's whenever one fires, it's going to be the immediate pistons right around it. So when this one fires, it's only going to be those 3. But when that one in there fires, it's going to be all 4. So you can see that it's starting to grow up. So let's go ahead and grab some bone meal. Like so. And we can actually start to bone meal these. And now each of these is going to, it's going to take a little bit here. And we just have to, if you don't have to necessarily do this step, you could let it do its thing. Now what's happening, see how that pumpkin is actually on this block right here? It's not going to lose its efficiency. What's going to happen is when something around here pushes that piston down, it's going to jump into one of one of the lower spot areas, and then the hopper will actually suck it up, because a hopper actually can't suck up items that are right here on top of this block. But when you throw it down and then you actually cause an update to that by the piston pushing it, it's going to push it down into the next available area, and it's going to get sucked up by the hopper. Now, if you guys have a hopper minecart system underneath of this, it will actually suck anything that's on the top of this. So like the redstone here, we'll just go ahead and throw that down there. It'll actually push that, it will actually pull it right through the ground no matter what height it's at. So depending on what resources you have an abundance of, if you have the capability of minecart and access to powered rails, then that might be a way to do it. If you don't, then hoppers are going to be the way to do it. My honest opinion, I probably would prefer doing the minecart method, just because it's going to be a little bit simpler, and it should be a little bit more cost effective in the long run than the other ones, or than doing it as the hopper. But if you have a ton of iron that you just really don't care about, then by all means go ahead and use that as a resource for this build. All right, so actually I've got everything in this system and this farm planted and bone mealed. As you can see, we got kind of that nice pattern around. Just keep in mind that the plants are going to go right below the observer, so it can actually sense the growth, and then it will cause the firing in the pistons. So you're going to have that as a noise, unfortunately. But look at what we've actually already collected from this farm, just from me basically bone milling this. This is only within a few minutes of this farm running, and you guys saw that it really doesn't take that long. There's actually one that I missed right there. And there we are. So now you can see we got 11 pumpkins and 49 slices, or 46 slices of melon already, which is absolutely incredible. But I found that this design was a little bit better. And it doesn't really make any, I mean, it has the piston noise, but it doesn't have the note blocks, which obviously a lot less resources are required to build this. You just got to make sure that you do pumpkin, melon, pumpkin, melon, pumpkin, melon, all the way down the row. Now what you could do if you want to expand this, what you would do is you would, grab your dirt here, and you would actually go out 4, and then this would be another source block right here. So if we grab a slab, and I probably should have kept that water, but that's fine. And then you just put it there, and then you put another 4 blocks here, and you can make this farm as big as you guys would want it to be. And you can have it all funneling into just that one system. And that's how you can actually expand this system if you guys want. But if you're going any bigger than this, definitely would recommend using a minecart rail, because you don't have to have all powered rails, but it's going to move the minecart through it the absolute quickest as possible. But I really do like this farm. I actually use this in one of my survival for multiple reasons. So this thing does produce really, really good. Just to give you guys an example, just from me messing around with some villagers and having this only a 9x9 section going, I was able to get 3 or 4 double chests within a relatively short amount of time. And then I was able to use those items to be able to trade with the villagers that I was actually working with and get a ton of emeralds from it. And that was even prior to me zombifying the villagers and curing them. But anyway, that is pretty much all the time that I have for in today's video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. If you guys did enjoy it in any way, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. It would help me out a lot and is greatly appreciated. But until next time, YouTube, you guys keep doing what you're doing, because you're already doing it, and you guys stay gaming.